Hello and welcome back to Boxing Social in association with Betfred. My name is Ayman Khan. We're here at the Matchroom Boxing Gym with the one and only Tony Sims. Tony, first of all, how's life treating you?
Yeah, good, thank you very much.
Brilliant here. Obviously, while we're here, Benn looking in brilliant form as he prepares for Chris Van Heerden. How's Conor been looking in the gym?
Yeah, good, it's the first time he's prepared for a southpaw fighter and it's about adjusting to that. Obviously, as we know, he ain't had a long amateur career at all. I don't think he's ever fought a southpaw. So, he fought a switch hitter before, but not a southpaw. So, he's had to make adjustments in sparring and, it's just a good bit of experience for him to do this at this stage of his career. Chris Van Heerden's a world-level fighter. He's fought, the best in the world, won 8 rounds of well spent, and he's a good fighter. So this would be a great experience fight for Conor.
Is that what it's about? I mean, when it comes to, there have been some criticism regarding the choice of opponent, but when it comes to, from a training perspective, do you look to kind of tick that off, that southpaw experience, get that in the bag, and then look onto going on to world level, just make sure you've ticked that tick box off in a sense?
Yeah, as you say, it's another box ticked. Preparing for a southpaw for the last 12 weeks, and it's like I said to him, I don't really want you to fight your first ever southpaw like in a world title fight, so I'd rather you prepare for one now, and it's a compliment with people like you or the fans saying that's all that he's fighting is Chris Van Heerden, because Chris Van Heerden's last fight was against Heerden, and we know it was a technical draw in the first round, but no one was saying that to Heerden. That's all you're fighting on the top of the bill is Chris Van Heerden. So it's a compliment to Conor Benn that people don't think that Chris is a worthy enough opponent to fight Conor at this stage. And but I know that he is. I know that he's experienced. He's been around a long time. He's a tough guy. He fights out USA, so he's done all his sparring. He's been in Freddie Roach's gym for a long time, and he's a tough customer and he's a tough fight. And as I say, it's the first real southpaw that Conor Benn's faced. So he's had to make adjustments to that, and it'd be a great experience for him to fight Chris.
Tony, in terms of breaking down how you set your fighter out to fight against Chris, is it a case of picking up a game plan for Chris Van Heerden or letting Conor go and adapting in the ring there? What's kind of the thought process there?
Yeah, he's had to adapt in sparring to fighting southpaws, because he's very rarely sparred with any southpaws apart from his own stable mate in John Ryder throughout the years. So he's had to adapt to that, and because every fight he's come up against an orthodox. We've had one fighter who was a switch hitter, obviously, but to actually train for 12 weeks and adapt your style to the southpaw style, is a thing that he's never done before. So, he's learned a lot in sparring and in preparing for this fight, and it'll be a great experience for him to fight Chris, and the game plan is just to win on the night, really, and prepare and to win on the night.
In terms of what we've seen from Conor, we've seen him be destructive and being fast, agile, and looking to get that knockout kind of at all times. Is that the full package with Conor, or is there more to come that we've not yet seen from him, from what you see with him and work with him on in the gym?
I think in the last fight we saw little flashes of his defensive work, against Chris Algieri. Obviously, the fight was over and done with by the 4th round, so you couldn't see the work that he's put in defensively. But obviously, fighting a southpaw, it's a different defensive mechanism that he's got to use. So, he's got to adapt to that. And, obviously, he's got a lot more in his locker and he's got a lot more to learn. So, bit by bit, he's getting, on that path to where he wants to be. And that's challenging for a world title. And he's getting closer and closer to that. But all these fights that we're doing now are fights that, are experienced for him to get him closer to that stage.
Do you have to rein him in a little bit sometimes? Because just speaking to Connor earlier, it was like Josh Taylor, Kell Brook, Amir Khan, these sort of type of names. I want them all, I want them now. Is there a sense of having to rein him in a little bit just to say one step at a time?
Boxing's all one step at a time, you know, it's all one fight at a time, but obviously the Kell Brook fight, you know, is a fight that I would let him do after this fight. There was talks of it a little while, a few weeks back, maybe the fight might have been on, but you know, I think let's get this fight out of the way, and hopefully them discussions can, you know, they can go further, but that's obviously Eddie Hearn's job. You know, so we just leave that to Eddie. But that's a fight that I would definitely take, a Kell Brook fight next, if that was available.
Let's take a look at a couple of other fighters in the gym. First of all, Joe, to my right there, getting ready, back in camp, get ready to start training. When can we expect him back out?
He's looking like early June. He's going to fight. I think Matchroom will announce he's fighting within the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, that's when he's looking to fight.
Felix Cash, we saw him out in a great fight, had to climb up on the canvas to get the win, but it was a brilliant fight. Felix obviously getting some rest, I assume, but when's Felix next out?
Yeah, he'll start his training camp within the next couple of weeks as well. He's been ticking over. He's looking to go out early June. He'll probably be on the same show as Joe Cordina, so they'll start preparing for that soon. And you know, opponent and fight to be announced, but I think they'll be announcing that within the next week or two, Matchroom. So I believe they'll both be on the same card.
John Ryder as well, getting a brilliant win against Daniel Jacobs at the Ali Pali. What's kind of next for John?
Yeah, I think John will be fighting in the summer. Obviously, there's talks about John fighting Canelo in the winter over here in London, but that's obviously talk at the moment. You know, that's coming from Matchroom, and as I say, I'll leave that to them. But what Eddie Hearn's told me is John will probably be fighting in the summertime around July, but who he fights I don't know at the moment.
Any update on Ted Cheeseman? We haven't seen him out since the loss to Troy Williamson. Troy's been out recently. Any update on Ted?
Ted's taking a break from boxing at the moment. As we know, Ted's always in exciting fights. He's like the Arturo Gatti of the British boxing ring. You know, every fight he goes into is an hard fight, and you know, it's always a war. And people, you know, the fans do like to watch him fight. Yeah. But at the same time, he's still only a young man. He's 26 years of age, so I think like the rest will do him good. And he's got really successful businesses going outside of boxing, which obviously he's tending to at the moment. And so I don't know whether after the break he'll fight again, or after the break he will fight again. That's a decision that's up to Ted. But you know, whatever Ted does, whether he comes back and fights, you know you're going to see him in exciting fights, or whether he don't fight and takes care of like his successful businesses outside of boxing, it's up to him. But you know, I think the rest, whatever which way you look at it, will do him the world of good.
Craig Richards in a very exciting fight with Richards-Buatsi. How do you kind of get Craig ready for a test? It's a test for both fighters, but one that is exciting for the British public.
Yeah, Craig trains down at the gym, but my brother Peter obviously trains Craig. So, but you know, it's a great fight. Richards-Buatsi is a great fighter, and they're both like top world level fighters. And like to see a British domestic fight like that go on, you know, they're putting their careers on the line, obviously, and it's a brilliant fight to make, and it's a fight that most fans will look forward to watching. And you know, Craig will be preparing well from this gym, and he's got great sparring in here, and you know, I'll just be like a spectator on a night myself watching the fight, and it's an intriguing fight.
A couple of final things from me, Tony. It looks like we are going towards now Joshua versus Usyk, the rematch of Usyk-Joshua. Your thoughts on that one? A lot of people are saying that AJ has to be the destroyer to get the win here. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's a strange one really, because I was talking about this the other day, Usyk-Joshua. You know, I didn't think this fight would happen, the return fight would happen, because obviously we all know what's going on in Ukraine, and I'm hearing that the government are releasing Usyk to go and do this fight. Mentally, do we know how Usyk will be in training camp? Because if you put yourself in his situation, You know, you're out of the country training, but your family's all in the country, which is at war. You know, mentally, how will you be feeling preparing for a major world heavyweight title fight? So I don't know really, it's a strange one really. I didn't think it'd be made, but obviously if the fight is made and it's going to go ahead, mentally you got to think that Joshua will have the upper hand in this fight at the moment. You know, if there's ever a time to beat Usyk, it'll be around about this time now with all the problems that's obviously going on. So we'll see if that goes ahead, but obviously it's a good time for Joshua to take this fight.
I don't know if you caught the TalkSport conversation, Fury White, the back and forth from both sides there. Your thoughts on that, if you did catch it, Tony?
The what?
The conversation on TalkSport between Frank Warren and Dylan White's lawyer. I don't know if you caught it at all.
No, I never caught that. No, what?
Oh, it was, I'll let you have a listen to that and find that out. It was an interesting one, a lot of boxing. Boxing probably caught wind of it, but just maybe I'll get your thoughts on the silence from White's side and how you feel about that.
I don't really know much about it, really. You know, I just know that the fight's made and it's another great British domestic fight. And the ins and outs of it, the promotional things, I don't really know nothing about it. No.
Fair enough, Tony. Finally, what can we expect to see? That man behind you, Conor Benn, destructive force again. Can we expect to see him in that similar fashion on April 16th?
16th, yeah. As I say, it's a good fight for Conor at this stage of his career, and you know, I expect him to win the fight. Obviously, we'll just see on the night. You know, we'll just see.
Tony, thank you so much for speaking to Boxing Social. Much appreciated. Thank you and thank you for having me at the gym as well. Much appreciated. Thank you. Appreciate it.